Hello, hello, and happy Friday. I cannot believe it's Friday already. It's my favorite day of the week. Things are changing, by the way, so I'll announce that in a little bit, but I love Friday. Usually it's for Recap Friday. I love today just because I had a great call with someone today who really just inspired me and got me all fired up for the things that are happening in my life, the new things that are happening. There's going to be some awesome changes, and I'm so excited. I cannot wait for what 2020 has in store for me. Really super excited. As you can see from today, this week I've been talking about gratitude, right? And being grateful for all that you are and all that you have. So today it's time for some reflection. Okay, so it's really important because I feel going back is what helped me get through this. It's essential for our emotional well-being to achieve self-awareness around our emotions so that we can make better decisions in how we respond when we're triggered based on how we're feeling, right? And achieving self-awareness means taking time to really getting to know who you are as a person, going deep, being open to change because change is inevitable, and embracing that pivoting may be part of the process. In fact, it's a part of the process that we oftentimes resist. We don't like change. I get it. I used to be like that. But on top of that, knowing that sometimes with change comes pivoting, meaning you are trying to control the process, but something is pushing at you to say, go left, don't go right, go left. And you're trying to no. Be open to receiving that because you have no idea what could be waiting for you, that great opportunity, that new connection, that great new opportunity that you've been waiting for. It could be just waiting for you around the corner. So be open to it. Hello, I'm Leslie Gaudette, and I am an empowerment coach. I help my clients achieve self-awareness around their emotions so that they can handle their triggers, manage their emotions, and live a more positive life. Now, if you are new to my lives, welcome. But if you've been following me for a while, I want to say welcome back. And thank you all so much for your support because I really, truly appreciate you. So as I said, this week has been all around gratitude and being grateful for all that you are and all that you have. But before I get started with today's topic, I want to just explain to you this chart behind me, super important because we go through this every day. It's on repeat. So this is what I call the trigger cycle. It's our emotional cycle on repeat. And when I say on repeat, I mean that it's on repeat, meaning not only does it happen every day, it can happen multiple times a day. Now, again, as I said yesterday, it's been Hat Week. I'm not going to lie. I'm having some difficulty trying to figure out what to do with my hair. Do I cut it? Do I get something going for it? I need a change. So, yeah, 2020, time to do it, right? So, anyways, getting back to this. Enough about me. This cycle is what we go on sometimes multiple times a day. And this is the cycle that we go on multiple times a day. So triggers. Trigger is an event, something that happens to you, something that happens that evokes an emotion. And based on what that trigger is, it also fuels that emotion based on like the severity of the emotion, or it could be a great thing. Don't get me wrong. A trigger could be something really great. But I'm going to talk to you about things that are taking us usually down that negative path where we're responding the way we don't want to respond. We want to be the best version of ourselves. At least I know that's how I wake up every day, with an attitude of gratitude to navigate my day that way so I can be the best person that I can be every day. So again, getting back to it, triggers an event that evokes an emotion, in turn fuels it. Our emotions drive our responses, meaning the actions that we take, the things that we say, the things that we do, right? Which in turn provides our reward. What's our reward? Well, it's positive or negative. So what's the positive? Well, the positive is you understand triggers, you understand what your triggers are and how you emotionally are triggered, so what emotions are evoked and fueled, and you're able to make better decisions on what you say and you do because you are aware, you're self-aware. That's the piece, you have to be self-aware. Now your response, then your reward would be positive, right? Because now you're able to make better decisions on how you show up in the things that you say and you do, keeping you present in your life, what you're doing right now, and able to focus on the here and now and moving forward, looking to the future. Now, the flip side to that is the negative reward, meaning you have a trigger, evokes that emotion, it fuels it, you just off the cuff, like that, respond in whatever you say or do, takes you down that road where you, after you've had time to think about it, because after someone's either gotten hurt or something, you've done something to undermine maybe something you're working on. And so what happens is you have to go back and fix it once you have cooled off and you realize, okay, I made a mistake. Now I got to go back and do the mending process, right? That is okay if it's happening maybe once or twice in your life. Some people live like this their whole life, allowing this piece here to manage them. And that is keeping them with one foot in the past. What I mean by that is you're always having to go back and fix things. So that means that you're barely in your present and you can't even have any time to even look to your future, like what's possible. Hi, thanks for joining. So some triggers are, it could be the anniversary date of loss or trauma. It could be a scary news event. It could be the ending of a relationship, whether it's personal or professional, isolation, overwhelm, family friction. It could also be financial problems. Thanks so much for joining. Or it could be like maybe you grew up and you were judged or criticized. And so I'm going to use that one as an example. So before I get to that, I just want to let you know triggers do have triggers. So you're like, oh my gosh, triggers have triggers? Yes, they do. So a trigger could be you grew up and you were judged or criticized by peers, family members, maybe a teacher. And now today, fast forward, you're out, maybe you're in the working world, working on something, and your boss gives you constructive feedback. And right away, you think you're being personally attacked, your character, that you are stupid, and that you're no good at what you're doing, and you're not looking at it from the positive side, which is if someone that you work with, they're trying to, most of the time, people who are giving you constructive feedback are trying to help you to be a better person, that could be a better version of you, to help you improve on what you're doing. But instead, you take it as a personal attack. So what happens? Your emotions get the best of you. The way you show up and respond could be you get very defensive. And so maybe you start an argument, very combative, and you don't want to do that in the workplace because it doesn't look good, you don't look professional, and it can undermine any successes that you're trying to go towards. So again, the trigger, meaning that you grew up being judged or criticized, and you had that emotion that you already assigned to it, feelings of maybe you felt less than, self-esteem was low, and very frustrated and defensive. And so when someone today says something to you, that's an external, meaning that's today, and something external, meaning a person says something, it's going to trigger your internal memory around that trigger, and that's how they feed off of each other and they fuel each other. So that's what this cycle is. As I said, it's our emotional cycle on repeat, sometimes multiple times a day. So with that being said, let's get to today's topic, which I have named, it's time for some reflection. And what I'm promising to you is I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet because I want to be very mindful of the time and be respectful of your time, because I know we are all super busy. We all have our lives that we want to get back to. Some of you are listening from the East Coast, so it's going to be dinner time for you almost soon, and you've got things to do. So let's get to it, shall we? So let's go back in time for just a little bit, okay? I want to talk to you a little bit about me and where I was, and fast forward to where I am today, and how my life could have turned out so differently if I'd allowed my past to dictate my present and my potential for my future. So I grew up poor, and so I thought only those who came from privilege had the opportunity to make it in life, right? I thought I'm going to have to work twice as hard as everyone else who came from privilege. And I had many friends who grew up with privilege. To me, privilege meant you lived in a house, like you had your own home, you had nice clothes, you had a nice car, all of those things. You could get what you wanted when you wanted it. It didn't matter what it was. I grew up in social housing, so meaning that, and my mom, I'm not knocking my mom down for anything, or my family life, or any of that. What I'm saying is I'm just giving you a little bit back in time of what happened, where I came from. So for me, growing up in, special housing, meaning that was where the government assisted. So, you got a place to live, and they supplemented the extra for your rent. So I think they call that Section 8 here. I don't know what they call that in Canada, but that's where I grew up. So, but I always thought that people who had privilege, meaning my friends, their parents would give them their credit card to go shopping. And I thought that was like so super cool. And I couldn't believe, like, wow, this is what I'm living. But I learned to appreciate over time that waiting for something made it that much more special for me. So anyways, that was me. I grew up poor. I didn't get a college degree right out of the gate. I got a job right after graduating high school. I knew what I wanted to do. Well, there was something I knew that I wanted to do. I had two choices. I got my dream job anyway, or so I thought. Along the way, I was just very resourceful, figuring out what I wanted to do, and I would go after it, very assertive. And I actually did love what I used to do very much. But then a shift started happening about 12 years ago, and I started looking for something more. Instead, though, at that time, I still was allowing my limiting beliefs stop me, meaning that only privileged people can get what they want. So I allowed that to stop me from stepping into my future because, my future self, the one that I dreamt of, because I felt that who am I to think I deserve more? And I'm not privileged. So almost another 10 years passed by when I finally woke up and I started taking action to get me where I wanted to go and who I wanted to be. What my dream job was, or so I thought, was being in law. I've been in law for like decades, many decades I spent thinking that was my dream job. But here's the thing, my story isn't different from many of you watching right now, is it? I want you to know that your past, your circumstances, the amount of resources that you had or have today, none of that dictates the future. Your resourcefulness does. Want to know where I got that from? I got that from reading a recent book that I just finished it today. I couldn't get enough of this book. It was The Underdog Advantage by Dean Graziosi. Love him. If you don't know who he is, Google him. Awesome. But I got that from him just in the last few pages of the book. Now, I had to learn that through a lot of hard trial and error in my life, that being resourceful really was the piece. I allowed, though, what other people said was the norm to dictate my every move. So growing up, it was like, you go to school, you either get a degree and get a job, or you get a job, you just go to high school, you get a job, and you stay there for life, and then you retire. That was what I grew up with. That doesn't have to be, right? It doesn't have to be. What other people say is the norm does not have to be your norm. I want to say to you today, don't let other people's doubts, the outside voices, become your inside voice, your inner villain. Because guess what? Your inner villain, if you give your inner villain free rein, he or she will take over happily and will keep you chained to your emotions that are managing you. Because yes, it all comes back to this. This cycle ties in with how you see yourself, how you show up in the world, and whether or not you are going to let your limiting beliefs hold you back. Now I say, face your fears head on and clear out the cobwebs. Figure out exactly what you want. Be passionate about it and what it would mean to you for your life. You can write your story. People don't realize that you're not too old. You're not too young either. You're not too old, though. If you think you're too old to make changes, you're not. You're holding yourself back if you believe that. Start today. Start taking initiative today. Now, the next 10 years are going to pass by. We just finished a decade, right? Well, the next 10 years are going to pass by no matter what you do, because time waits for no one. And time definitely won't wait for you to decide or not. And 10 years from now, you could be listening to someone else on a Facebook Live or a podcast, and then possibly think that, well, maybe it's time to get started. But 10 more years, like I did, 10 years passed me by. When I first started thinking about it, what I wanted was something different. I let 10 more years pass me by because of my limiting beliefs. I was holding myself back. The time to get started is now, this very moment. You have to ask yourself, what are you waiting for? If you said that you're waiting for your fears to go away, then all I can say is that your fears will only increase because you're giving them all your power, keeping you from taking action, from living your best life, and letting your fear manage this piece that's managing you. I don't know if you can feel that. I'm hoping you can. Here's the thing. You can keep Googling quick fixes and how-tos, but if you don't stop and face fear and allow yourself to step through it and take action, nothing is going to change. This will always be your master. Now, I know Google well because that's what I used to do. I'd be Googling all kinds of things, how to do this, how to do that, as far as like how to fix how I was feeling. What could I do? What's possible? But instead of taking action, I just kept searching, and then I'd stop and nothing would change. So today I'm saying to you is a day for you to decide. This is your call to action for yourself. Make that decision to take action so that you have the freedom to know that you are living your life on purpose with joy, happiness, and living an abundant life. I'm going to repeat that so that you can live your life on purpose with joy, happiness, and living an abundant life. So that at the end of your days, you can say, yeah, I truly lived my life. So if not now, when, right? When are you going to take action for you? Stop, again, looking for the quick fix. Stop trying to find a cure for your emotions. There's no cure for this. It's who we are. We're emotional beings. I think it's beautiful that we're all individual. We're unique. We have emotions. I love that. But learning to manage this is not to find a cure, but to put yourself back in control of this piece, your emotions, so that they don't manage you. So what's it going to be? What action step will you take today, this very moment, to start your journey toward your future self, where you're confident, where you're clear, where you're focused, where you're happy, where you're content, and can in control of your emotions that are so that they're no longer in control of you. I want you to write it down right now and just do it. Write it down and do it. Your future self is counting on you. Now, if you don't know what that looks like, and you're saying, I know that this is my master, and maybe you're ready to take back your power, because yes, it's your power. Then click on that link in the title notes. Let's set up a call and get you started down the right path. There's no time like the present. Your future self, like I said, is counting on you, and it's your call to action for yourself. Like I said, short and sweet. Thanks so much for watching, whether you're on here live or watching it back, whether you're new or whether you're a repeat listener. I truly appreciate your support. Remember, navigate your day with an attitude of gratitude, because with the right attitude, it's going to put you in the right mindset for when life happens, and this is going to happen. Like I said, you can see it. Repeat. I hope that you have an awesome day. I hope you have an amazing weekend. Make sure you connect with your loved ones, with your friends. Do something great for you this weekend. Always, always, always build yourself up. As I said, I hope you have an amazing day, an amazing weekend. Remember to navigate your day with an attitude of gratitude. And if you are ready, seriously, if you're ready to take back control of this, you're done with Google of trying to figure out how to fix things, then click on the link and let's set up your call. Thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you again all on Monday. Oh, actually, I should say, sorry, I told you, I promised you to tell you what's coming up new. So real quick, changing the format. So I'm only going to be coming to you 3 days a week now. Tuesdays, Training Tuesdays. So I'm going to be teaching you stuff. Thursdays are going to be Transformational Thursdays. So I'm going to talk to you about things that can help you to give you transformation around this. And today, being Friday, on Fridays, we're going to talk about reflecting. We're going to be reflecting back on things. Of course, I'm also going to make sure that I put these on at the end of the day in case you missed it. So, but yes, definitely, that's what I'm looking forward to. I think that's a great way to segue into the rest of 2020. So again, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye, guys.